So let's talk about on a small scale these dangers. Individual scale. You decide to use OpenAI ChatGPT to ask how to do something, how to, and I will bring up a very funny example and a commercial I just saw, a commercial between YouTube videos. It's for Meta's OpenAI. You ask it a question, it responds with a voice. Meta, how do I get my son to eat his food? My 2-year-old son. The thing responds, he likes it mushed. You couldn't figure that out yourself as the dad? You couldn't, I don't know, try mushing it or do something? You have to, what the fuck is a computer? AI going to tell you that you don't know with practical application raising the child? Or I don't know, looking it up or inquiring on some actual medical field websites or child raising websites. Gosh, it's and I'm gonna sound very like exacerbated in this video, so forgive me. You're gonna hear a lot of me thinking like hitting my head against the wall of how dumb some of this stuff is. The point is that on a micro scale, on the individual scale, the use of AI in this function, it just really smooths the brain. It really does not promote people to use critical thinking. Maybe that's why it's so close to home to me, because in my higher education, I had a philosophy degree. As a lawyer, this is critical, you need to have critical thought. You need to think about how you think. You need to think creatively in how you think. For example, when you're looking up something, critical thought encourages you, good critical thought, to check other sources, to check where the source of what the information you're getting. AI doesn't provide that. AI gives you an answer in easy, digestible form that you are supposed to rely on good faith is correct, when it very could not be correct, or it could be too simplified to be correct, or it could be missing a lot of information to make it a fully correct answer. This broadens over to the second point, which is AI in this form does not encourage individuals to develop individual skills. If you're creating art through AI tools as a kid because you don't want to try to learn how to draw, you don't want to learn how to draw a person moving. It's hard. It takes time. I'm not perfect at it, and I've been doing it my whole life since I could pick up a crayon, I guess. I'll never be as good as the artists behind me or in the comic books, but I do think that I'm moderately skilled. If you're not willing to take the time to do that, and you just think, I don't need to become an artist, but I have an artistic desire, but I don't want to learn how to do it. Why would I? Because I could just input this, the computer will make what I want. That's shitty, and that's not going to lead to fully developed individuals. Same thing for video creation. You know what? I'm just gonna create a video of this instead of filming it myself. We're learning tools to create digital animation, a developed skill. Why do I need to? It's already there. It does it for me. I don't have to do any of the hard work. I don't have to learn any of the skills. It's crap. It's crap. And what it creates looks like crap. AI art. And at this juncture, it's really easy to identify. I've said that already. It just looks road smooth. That whole thing where everybody's making themselves look like a quote-unquote Studio Ghibli character. Golly. Stop being sheep. I'm sorry. Stop being a bunch of sheep. Stop seeing something you see everybody do and then wanted to be a part of it. I've been a big sheep before on that level. But God, at a certain point when you're old enough, when you're like, you're out of your teenage years, you're not so influenceable, you're 20, 30, 40, 50 years old and you're doing stuff like this, you've not developed that key component inside you that says, why is everybody doing this? Why do I have to do the exact same thing? Stop being a sheep. Stop. I act sheepish sometimes, I'm not perfect, but for God's sakes, try to fight that that natural drive to follow the crowd and do whatever people are doing. Like those stupid AI Ghibli art. Oh my gosh, it's so dumb. Learn to draw like that. Make yourself a character. Or if you can't, then just don't do it because it's not fun or cool or creative. It's just like, okay, there's another picture of a thing that remotely kind of looks like the person who put themselves in the prompt. Ugh. It's dumb. We had similar kind of things when Snapchat first came out and they had face filters. That was radically fascinating technology. I don't know if it's founded in the same stuff that we see now for AI or if it's a component of that or it's the foundation for that. But even that got old after about 10 minutes. You know, it was cool, it was interesting, it's different, but you know, the difference is that now that AI has your face and it's going to use your face, use it for the development of other things that it will be used for. Okay. What else? Search engines. ChatGPT, tell me write me a 2-page paper on the geography of Europe. Boom, just does it for you. Bullshit like that. You're not going to develop your key writing skills, key comprehension skills by just letting something do all the work for you. Shit. And on a macro scale, now we're on the macro scale. Fraudulent deception. Using these videos or art to deceive people, which has been done a lot. It's done so much. Making videos where people actually think things is real. I see sometimes there's a video I catch on my feed on Facebook. It's a fake AI generated video of like a Shaolin monk fighting like a giant muscular man. And the monk does these crazy things, whipping attacks and defeats the older man. But then you just kind of see it's all kind of like it's hazy and the lines are not clearly established on the edge of people, and their bodies dysmorph and their hands and like fuse with other parts of their bodies, and it's just shit. And some people actually believe part of that is realistic, that it's actually a film. Someone filmed this happening because people are dumb, especially people who don't know the technology. They're ignorant is a probably better word for it. They're ignorant of what can and cannot be produced through AI video at this point, especially older individuals, sadly. And using that probably for more, potentially criminal acts or politically influencing acts. Like, for example, today I saw a news story of somebody using AI to impersonate Marco Rubio, contacting U.S. officials, contacting foreign officials, and people were tricked. He got found out, but he got far enough. He or she. What part of that does that seem like it's improving our quality of life? It doesn't. It's just criminal activity. It's deceiving individuals because people are not smart enough to determine the difference. And voice technology for AI is getting so good that even I've been tricked on what I believe was an individual speaking to me about making an appointment or something, until I realized that their conversation, there was something off about the conversation. And eventually I just said something random like, blah, blah, and it's responded, oh, interesting. Okay, Austin. That's horseshit. I don't want to be talking to no fucking robot if I'm making an appointment. Or if I am doing an automated activity, tell me it's an automated thing. Don't try to trick me into thinking that I'm talking to a person. That doesn't make it better. That makes it worse. That makes me finding out the trickery involved. It pisses me off. And it should piss people off to think that they're doing one thing when actually they're being deceived. And even me, I would consider myself technologically unknowledgeable to a degree, more than the average person or layman If it's able to deceive me, imagine people who have no conception of the technology. Now, AI is trying to be integrated in all facets of business. Obviously, the technological field, you see it in Microsoft's suites of 365 things like Copilot, immediately deactivated that shit. I do not need AI to help me create whatever I'm creating in a Word document or an Excel spreadsheet. If I have questions about how to do something, how to write something, how to create or use Excel in a more productive fashion, there are things I can look up, tools in my hand, the internet at my hand, which is a great tool. It's basically an open library, using your brain to figure out what you need to do to accomplish what you need, not letting something do the activity for you or write what you need to write for you without you having to think about what you're trying to write. It's outside of that. In my own field as a lawyer, I've been repeatedly watching these stupid TikTok style videos of this little jerk off who says, if you've been in a car accident, don't hire a lawyer. Check out this AI app that's gonna get me $50,000. Blurt out fucking check information. So for the $50,000, you could lose so much more money hiring an attorney. Think twice. Yeah, think 4 times about that. Think 1,000 times why you would do that. And there are people who are gonna. Because either they don't trust lawyers or they want to just do things fast without having to even pick up a phone and call somebody. You are potentially costing yourself so much money and ability to protect yourself for your own case by doing that. Here's my issues with that, specifically on the legal field for personal injury cases. If you are, for instance, decided to use one of these applications, these apps, these AI-powered apps to do what you need to do that a lawyer would do for you in this context, here's what you would be losing. Number one, your ability to successfully protect yourself in the case that you are actually having bad faith activity done for your case. You're potentially having a non-lawyer entity practice law for you on your behalf in the state of Texas. Meaning that somebody else pretending to be a lawyer, whether it's a computer or somebody on the other end of a computer, pretending to be a lawyer, doing the stuff that me and people in my profession have trained for at the very least 7 years to go through the education, and then another year to take the bar exam, and then years of practice to refine your skill in the actual practice. The whatever's on the end of the AI doesn't have all that, or you have no guarantee as to that happening. And let's say they screw up your case. Who are you going to sue? Because you have the right to sue or protect yourself malpractice through your own attorney if they don't do a right job. You're going to sue the app company? Maybe. But you're going to need a lawyer in that case, aren't you? Because guess what? You skipped the job the first time. You didn't save yourself any time in the event they screw you over. Number 3, you don't have any conception about what they're doing on your case that guarantees you this quote-unquote $50,000 or whatever stupid money figure they want to throw in your face to trick you into using AI. AI is also trying to be integrated into the technology field for us as well as lawyers. LexisNexis and the other one besides Lexis, I haven't used it in a while, are trying to integrate AI tools to have lawyers not even have to draft their own motions and stuff or pleadings, that AI will generate it for you. Smoothing of the brain. Why did I go through all this training, this education, so that way I would not have to use it? Some lawyers are going to use that as the very foundation of their skill, that a technologically based entity, AI or whatever, is going to always create what requires some critical thought. You have to have argument in let's say you're arguing a motion, you need to create your own argument. You need to understand your own argument. You need to be able to articulate that argument under the wrappings of the law, under the facts of the present case. If you just let AI do that for you and you're just skimming through like, yeah, it looks fine, You go up and you have to argue that motion. You just start reading, and you don't really understand what it's saying. You're not really getting good counsel on the for the client who hired that attorney. So what do I do, and what do I use AI? Do I use AI in my life? No, absolutely not. For as much as I can avoid it, I have cut out any sort of AI integration into any of the technologies that I use. For example, on Microsoft 365, I killed Copilot. Zoom is trying to make me use AI. No. If I use social media, there is the Meta AI or the Grok. I have tried my best to either delete him or make him as far away from anything I can do when I'm in interacting with those websites. And people who put at Grok, is this true? Fucking open a book. Open the internet. It's there for you. Look up things. Good grief. And under Facebook, it's like, follow-ups to this video. What is this video about? How many blah, 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 or stuff like that. Just, good grief, man. That is gone. I've never used ChatGPT. I only know about ChatGPT because people have talked about ChatGPT. And I saw a funny South Park episode on it. Never used that. Never used OpenAI source. I don't use Google search for almost 90% of my searches unless I'm using Google Maps. I switched to DuckDuckGo and I've turned off the AI tool because it allows you to do that. That's why I started using DuckDuckGo. Certainly don't use Bing. And I do not allow AI to create argument for me for any of the legal arguments that I make in my career. I take pride in the ability of my brain to create original thought or rational thought. And you should too. I implore you not to use AI in any sense as much as you can, because it's becoming more and more difficult with its integration into every technology ever. But as much as you can deactivate it or turn it off, I would say do so. As much as you can try, practice yourself to identify what looks like AI, what sounds like AI. Because there are individuals out there who want you to be ignorant, to be tricked by it, and to be defrauded. It's so easy to think of what AI can be used to criminally defraud you. Personally, not just your politics, but you personally. So that's my opinion on it. And yeah, there are people who will always argue against the tide for new technologies. It's made fun of. It's a joke. There's the angry old man screaming out in the lawn who says, "Get off my lawn, kids." I've always kind of been that person, and it is who I am, and I'm proud of it. But with AI, I think there's a special uniqueness to it, where I hope people can agree that I believe its ability to be misused by the layman and used harmfully against individuals is higher than a lot of technologies out there. So if you see AI, give it the 2 fucking middle fingers. Fuck you, AI. And if anything, that's the message of this video. Thanks.